I can be naturally a pretty driven person and pretty results oriented. That's kind of the way I came into church ministry. And I think what shifted me out of that were personal crises, and then also reckoning with what do the scriptures actually say that Jesus is looking for in his people, and realizing that I don't know how to make that happen. My name is Gyle Smith. I'm the lead pastor at Believers Church here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I remember probably 12 plus years ago, I had started to realize, wow, I really need to be praying, particularly Sunday mornings before the thing got started. I just need to dial in and also intercede for the congregation. I did that for a few weeks and found myself tired and overwhelmed a bit. And at one point, I was like, Lord, am I doing the right thing here? He's like, yeah, but not by yourself. We'll start the day with our leadership team, and we just settle in and just enjoy him. And then I say, Lord, what are you going to be doing today? What do we need to pay attention to? And it's amazing how often the Lord will say something to us that will be pertinent in that Sunday service in some way.
You're able to minister to them individually. So would you do that?
We just joy and find great delight in what you are doing by your Spirit.
There's something that happens that only happens when you're doing this with other people. One of my favorite scriptures is John 5:19 through 20, where Jesus says, I only do what I see my Father doing. I've found that most often when we're discerning the Lord in prayer, yeah, he's interested in the outcome, but he seems to be even more interested in what's going on in us as people and between us. And that's usually not fast. And so when we choose to pray and wait on the Lord, we realize what his priorities are. But that can be frustrating to people. That can be frustrating in American context, where speed and efficiency are high values. If we are in prayer doing this work, we're modeling this idea of listening to what is Father saying and doing only that. And what I found is since we've really taken that seriously, it's a good way to avoid burnout. It's a good way to avoid trying to do everything. And what's so great about that is we can actually be effective by being limited. When we go to the place of prayer, we can hear God tell us the one or two things he's asked us to do. The cost of prayer vocationally is ego. When I first started trying to commit to a vocational engagement with prayer on the clock during the day, immediately my thoughts go to what are real people doing who have real jobs right now, and what would they think about me sitting and praying right now? From the outside, it looks like I'm sitting and doing absolutely nothing. When we're serving God's people, I can speak in a convincing way, set the context for people to be open to God, but ultimately, we're involved in a mystery. And so it took me some years to just fail in realizing, okay, I've been given a job description that I cannot complete. And so what I found is actually the most practical thing we can do as a team is to pray. I heard this quote from Dallas Willard: God has never given grace to a life that doesn't exist. And we can model or try to present to one another versions of ourselves that are actually fictitious. Prayer cuts through that because I've never found Jesus giving me grace for a fantasy life. He's never given me grace to have the strength through what I've imagined could happen. And so I believe true intimate prayer forces us to be honest. God, this is how ugly I am. This is what's actually going on in me. And I ask you to give grace to the actual me. I can't do this job unless I'm asking Jesus for help. It's just not possible.